Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Talk English Now. I'm Sarah, and today we're going to talk about how you can practice speaking English even when you're completely alone. This is one of the biggest challenges many learners face, but it's also one of the most powerful ways to build fluency. So let's dive in right away. Have you ever felt like your English is stuck because you don't have someone to practice with? Maybe you live in a place where there aren't many English speakers around, or maybe you feel shy about speaking to strangers. The truth is, you don't need to wait for someone else to give you permission to practice. You can create your own practice environment, and that's exactly what I'll help you do today. When you're alone, your biggest tool is your own voice. Speaking out loud, even to yourself, trains your mouth, your ears, and your brain to work together in English. Think about it. When you learned your first language as a child, you didn't sit down with grammar books all day. You listened, you repeated, you experimented, you made mistakes, and slowly your fluency grew. Practicing English alone allows you to recreate that same process, step by step. Let's begin with something very simple. Talking about your day. This is one of the easiest yet most effective exercises for practicing English when you're alone. For example, you could wake up and say to yourself, "Good morning. I just woke up, and I feel a little tired. I'm going to brush my teeth now and then, make some tea." It may sound too simple, but what you're doing here is building fluency with natural expressions that you can use every single day. Try this with me now. Repeat after me, slowly. I woke up early today. I made a cup of tea. I checked my phone. And now I'm listening to English. Say it again with confidence. This is your practice space, and nobody is judging you here. Now, you might be thinking, "But Sarah, if I'm only talking to myself, how do I know I'm saying things correctly?" That's a great question. Here's the trick. When you talk to yourself, you don't need to worry about being perfect. What matters most is fluency. Fluency simply means being able to keep going, to connect one thought to the next. So even if you make mistakes, just keep speaking. The more you practice this way, the more natural and confident your speech will become. Another powerful way to practice English alone is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to something in English and then repeating it immediately, almost at the same time as the speaker. You could do this with podcasts, audiobooks, or even my lessons here on Talk English Now. For example, if I say, "It's a beautiful day outside," you try to repeat it exactly as I say it. It's a beautiful day outside. Shadowing trains your listening, your rhythm, and your pronunciation all at once. Let's practice a short shadowing exercise together. I'll say a few simple sentences, and you repeat right after me. Ready? I like learning English. I want to improve my speaking. Every day I get a little better. Keep going. You see how this works? It feels like you're training your brain and your tongue at the same time. That's exactly what shadowing does for you. When you practice alone, it's also important to add variety. If you only talk about the same things every day, your brain will get bored. So try describing different parts of your life. For example, describe what you see in your room. There's a desk in front of me. On the desk, there is a notebook and a pen. Next to the notebook, there's a glass of water. Simple sentences like these help you practice vocabulary and sentence structure without needing another person around. Now let's try describing emotions, because in real conversations, we often talk about how we feel. You could say, "I feel happy because I'm learning something new," or "I feel a little nervous, but I'm still trying," or even, "I feel proud of myself for practicing today." When you practice feelings out loud, you also connect English with your real emotions, and that makes it stick more deeply in your memory. Another exercise I recommend is question and answer practice. Ask yourself a question and then answer it. For example, what do I want to eat for lunch? I want to eat some rice and vegetables. Or, what am I going to do after this lesson? I'm going to review my notes and practice speaking again. By doing this, you simulate real conversations, even though you're speaking alone. Here's a small challenge for you right now. I'll ask you a question, and I want you to answer it out loud. Don't worry if you need a moment to think. Just speak. Here's the question. What is one thing you want to improve in your English this week? Say your answer now. Good job. Even a short answer like, "I want to improve my listening," is great practice. And the more you do this, the more natural your responses will become. Practicing alone also gives you the freedom to slow down. You don't have to match someone else's pace. You can pause, repeat, and adjust until you feel comfortable. This is something many learners overlook. They think speaking practice must always be fast and fluent, but fluency grows slowly, like a plant. You water it with practice every day, and over time, it becomes strong. So give yourself permission to take things slowly when you're practicing alone. Let's take a moment to practice a visualization exercise together. Imagine you are in a cafe. You walk up to the counter, and the barista says, "Hello, what would you like today?" You reply, "Hi, I'd like a cappuccino, please." Then the barista asks, "Would you like anything to eat with that?" And you answer, "Yes, I'll take a croissant, please." Try saying that out loud. "Hi, I'd like a cappuccino, please." "Yes, I'll take a croissant, please." This kind of role play is fantastic when you're practicing English alone because you prepare yourself for real-life conversations. Another simple but powerful technique is journaling out loud. Instead of only writing in your diary, try speaking your diary entries. For example, "Today was a good day. I studied English for 20 minutes. I spoke to myself in English while I was cooking dinner. I felt more confident than yesterday." This not only helps you practice speaking, but also trains you to express your thoughts in English, which is one of the hardest skills to master. Sometimes, learners worry about sounding silly when they speak alone. But here's what I want you to remember. Every single minute you spend practicing is an investment in your fluency. Nobody hears your mistakes, nobody is judging you, and every word you say is building your skill. Think of it like exercising. You might not see results right away, but little by little, your muscles get stronger. The same thing happens with your English-speaking muscles. Now, let's do another short practice. I'll give you a sentence in English and I want you to change it into a question. Ready? You are learning English. Can you make it a question? That's right. You can say, "Are you learning English?" Good. Now, try another one. You like coffee. Change it into a question. Do you like coffee? Excellent. This simple exercise helps you practice thinking in English while speaking aloud. Before we continue, I want to remind you of something important. Practicing alone is not just about repeating words. It's about building confidence. Every time you speak, even if it's only to yourself, you're telling your brain, I can do this. I'm an English speaker. I'm improving. And over time, this mindset shift makes a huge difference in your fluency. So far, we've looked at talking about your day, shadowing, describing your surroundings, practicing feelings, asking and answering questions, doing role plays, and journaling out loud. Each of these techniques can be done anywhere, anytime. And the best part is, you don't need a partner to start using them right now. Let's pause here for a quick reflection. Think about which of these methods you'd like to try today. Maybe you'll start by describing your morning routine, or maybe you'll try shadowing along with me in this lesson. Choose one technique, and after this video, spend just 5 minutes practicing it out loud. You'll be amazed how much difference 5 minutes can make when you do it consistently. You're doing wonderfully so far. And this is only the beginning of our journey together in this lesson. Now let's go a little deeper. One of the biggest secrets to practicing English speaking alone is creating real-life scenarios in your imagination. When you imagine yourself in situations, you give your brain context, and context is what helps words stick. Think about it. If you learn the phrase, "Can I have the menu, please?" while actually imagining yourself sitting in a restaurant, the phrase will connect to that mental picture. And later, when you're in a real restaurant, it will come to you much more quickly. So let's try one together. Imagine you are in a clothing store. You see a shirt you like, and you want to ask for a different size. Say this out loud with me. Excuse me, do you have this in a medium? Now imagine the shop assistant says, yes, one moment please. And then you reply, thank you very much. Practice this little scene again from the start. Excuse me, do you have this in a medium? Good. You see, you can create these small role plays in your mind anytime, and they will prepare you for real-life conversations. Another useful strategy is talking through actions as you do them. For example, while you are cooking, you could describe every step in English. I'm cutting the tomatoes. Now I'm boiling the water. I'm adding salt to the pot. Speaking while doing something makes the language more real because it's connected to a physical action. And when your hands and voice are working together, your brain remembers more easily. Sometimes learners ask me, Sarah, how can I practice pronunciation when I'm alone? The answer is simple. Repetition with awareness. Choose a word or phrase that feels difficult for you and repeat it slowly, clearly, and with focus. For example, the word comfortable. Many learners say this word as comfortable, but in natural speech it often sounds like comfortable. Try repeating it with me. Comfortable, comfortable, comfortable. Feel how your mouth moves. Hear the sound in your ears. This is the kind of detailed practice you can do on your own that makes a huge difference over time. Here's another technique. Recording yourself. I know it might feel strange at first, but it's one of the most powerful tools for practicing English alone. Just take your phone, record yourself speaking for 1 or 2 minutes about any topic, your day, your hobbies, your goals, and then listen back. You'll notice things you didn't realize before. Maybe you pause too much, maybe you miss a sound, or maybe you're stronger than you thought. Listening to yourself gives you instant feedback, and over time, you'll hear your own progress. Let's do a short guided exercise together. I'll ask you to answer a question out loud for about 30 seconds, and then, if possible, record yourself. Here's the question. What is your favorite food, and why do you like it? Speak now. Don't worry about mistakes, just keep going. Good. If you recorded yourself, play it back. Listen as if you're the teacher, not the student. Be kind, but also notice where you can improve. This is how you grow. Another beautiful way to practice is with affirmations. Affirmations are positive sentences you say to yourself to build confidence. In English learning, they can be very motivating. Try repeating after me. I am improving every day. I can speak English with confidence. I enjoy practicing, even when I'm alone. Doesn't that feel encouraging? When you connect positive emotions to your practice, you create energy that makes you want to keep going. Let's talk about rhythm for a moment. English is not just about words. It's about rhythm, stress, and intonation. Practicing alone gives you the chance to really focus on this musical side of the language. For example, listen to this sentence. I didn't say he stole the money. Depending on which word I stress, the meaning changes. If I stress I, it means someone else said it, not me. If I stress stole, it emphasizes the action. Try it with me. I didn't say he stole the money. I didn't say he stole the money. Do you hear the difference? Playing with rhythm and stress like this makes your speech more natural and expressive. When you practice alone, remember to bring curiosity. Don't just repeat words without thinking. Ask yourself questions like, why is this phrase used here? Or, what's another way I could say this? For example, instead of only saying, I'm fine, thank you, when someone asks how you are, you can practice alternatives. I'm doing well. Not too bad. Pretty good, thanks. Practicing different variations expands your flexibility, and when the real conversation comes, you won't freeze. You'll have options. Here's something fun you can do. Pretend you are teaching English to someone else. Even if there's nobody in the room, explain a phrase out loud as if you're the teacher. For example, you could say, the phrase, what's up, is an informal way of saying, how are you? It's very common among friends. By explaining something out loud, you process the information more deeply, and it helps you remember it better. Now, let's pause and practice a short dialogue exercise. I'll give you both parts, and you'll say them out loud. Ready? First line, Hi, how's it going? Second line, I'm good, thanks. And you? Try that now. Good. Now switch roles in your imagination and do it again. This switching builds flexibility, which is exactly what you need for real conversations. At this point in our lesson, you've already practiced multiple techniques, role plays, describing actions, pronunciation drills, self-recording, affirmations, rhythm practice, variations, and teaching aloud. Each of these adds a new layer to your ability. And remember, fluency is not one big skill. It's many small habits combined over time. You're building those habits right now. Before we move on, I want to give you a friendly reminder. If you're enjoying this lesson, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more daily English practice. It really helps us continue bringing you free lessons every day, and it keeps you connected to new opportunities to learn. So go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. Now, let's continue. One area many learners struggle with is thinking in English. When you practice alone, you have a perfect chance to train your mind to stop translating. For example, instead of thinking in your native language first, try to picture the situation and then speak directly in English. Let's try a simple one. Imagine you are thirsty. Don't think about the words in your native language. Just feel the situation and say, "I'm thirsty." Now imagine you're cold. Say, "I'm cold." Imagine you just finished a long walk and you're tired. Say, "I'm tired." This is thinking in English. It may feel slow at first, but the more you practice, the faster it becomes. Another great method is to practice reactions. In conversations, we don't just give long answers. We react with short expressions, too. For example, if someone tells you good news, you might say, "That's great," or "Really? That's amazing." If someone tells you something sad, you might say, "Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that." Try practicing these reactions alone. Say, "That's wonderful." "Wow, really?" "Oh, I see." Reactions like these make your English sound natural and alive. You can also use music as a practice tool. Choose an English song you enjoy and sing along. Don't worry about your voice. Focus on the words, rhythm, and pronunciation. Singing connects language to melody, which helps you remember more easily. For example, if you practice the chorus of a song again and again, those phrases will become automatic in your speech. Let's practice. Ice another guided exercise right now. I'll describe a short scene, and you create the dialogue. Imagine you're at the airport, checking in for a flight. The staff member asks, "May I see your passport, please?" You reply, "Here you go." Then they say, "Do you have any luggage to check in?" And you answer, "Yes, I have one suitcase." Try speaking these lines out loud, and then imagine adding more details. "Yes, I have one suitcase and one backpack." The more details you add, the more practice you get. Another practice you can try is storytelling. Even if it's a very short story, telling it out loud helps you practice connecting sentences. For example, you could say, "Yesterday I went to the park. I saw some children playing football. I sat on a bench and read a book. Then I walked home and cooked dinner." Simple, right? But notice how you're building a sequence of events. This skill is exactly what you need in real conversations when you're explaining something that happened to you. One final thing I want to mention in this part is the importance of celebrating progress. Practicing alone can sometimes feel lonely, but don't forget to acknowledge every small victory. Did you practice for 5 minutes today? Celebrate it. Did you learn one new phrase? Celebrate it. Did you record yourself for the first time? Celebrate it. These small celebrations keep you motivated, and motivation is the key to consistent practice. You're doing an amazing job so far. Keep speaking with me, keep repeating, and keep imagining real situations. This journey is about progress, not perfection. Every word you speak brings you closer to the fluent, confident English speaker you want to become. Let's continue with another powerful way to practice English speaking alone, using questions as your daily warm-up. Questions are the heart of every conversation. So if you train yourself to answer different questions naturally, you'll always be ready when someone asks you in real life. The trick is to ask yourself a question, then give a full answer aloud, as if you're already in a conversation. For example, let's try one right now. The question is, what did you do yesterday? Take a moment. Think of something real and answer in English. You could say, yesterday I woke up early, I went to work, and in the evening I watched a movie. Speak it out loud. Excellent. Now try a new question. What are your plans for tomorrow? Answer aloud. Tomorrow I'm going to visit my friend. We'll have lunch together and then go shopping. See how you're practicing both past and future tense in a natural way? This exercise prepares your brain to speak more fluently when similar questions come up in conversation. Another useful set of questions is about preferences. These are very common in daily life. For example, do you prefer tea or coffee? Answer out loud, I prefer tea because it helps me feel calm. Or, I like coffee because it gives me energy. Try this one. What's your favorite season? Maybe you'll answer, my favorite season is spring because the weather is warm but not too hot. Practicing preferences not only builds vocabulary, but also teaches you how to explain your reasons, which is very important in fluent communication. Let's also practice reflection questions. These are deeper questions that help you talk about your thoughts and feelings. For example, what makes you feel happy? You might answer, I feel happy when I spend time with my family, or I feel happy when I finish a good book. Reflection questions give you the chance to practice more personal language, which makes your English richer and more expressive. Another way to make solo practice more engaging is to combine speaking with movement. For example, when you go for a walk, talk to yourself in English about what you see. There's a tree on the left. A dog is running across the street. The sky looks cloudy today. Movement wakes up your body, and when your body is active, your brain remembers language better. It's like connecting your words to the real world around you. Now, let's practice something that learners often find difficult: longer answers. Many students give very short answers in English because they feel nervous. For example, if someone asks, "Do you like reading?" the learner might only say, "Yes." But when you practice alone, you can train yourself to give fuller, more natural answers. So instead of just yes, try, yes, I like reading, especially mystery books, because they are exciting. Adding just a little more detail makes your answer sound fluent and confident. Here's a guided practice. I'll ask you a question, and you give me a longer answer. Question: do you enjoy cooking? Instead of a short yes or no, try saying something like, yes, I enjoy cooking, especially on weekends, because it helps me relax and I can try new recipes. Or, no, I don't really enjoy cooking because I find it stressful, but I like eating food that other people cook. See how both answers give more than just one word? That's the style you want to practice. Sometimes learners say they forget words when they practice alone. That's normal. When you forget, don't stop. Just explain with other words. For example, if you forget the word umbrella, you can say, the thing you use when it rains. This skill is called paraphrasing, and it's extremely valuable. In real conversations, even native speakers forget words, but they find another way. To explain. Practicing paraphrasing alone helps you stay fluent even when your vocabulary is limited. Let's do a short paraphrasing exercise. I'll describe something, and you try to guess the word or explain it in your own way. Ready? It's a place where you borrow books. The answer is library. But even if you forget, you could say, the place where there are many books and you can borrow them. Another one, it's the thing you use to take pictures. The answer is camera. But if you forget, you can say, the machine that takes photos. Practicing like this keeps your fluency strong even when your vocabulary fails you. Another excellent method is retelling. After listening to something in English, a short story, a news clip, or even one of these lessons, pause and retell it in your own words. You don't need to remember everything exactly. The goal is to practice connecting ideas and using natural sentence flow. For example, if you hear a story about someone going shopping, you could retell it like this. The woman went to the market. She bought some fruit and vegetables. She paid with cash and then went home. Simple but powerful practice. Now let's try a guided retelling exercise together. Listen to this short story. Yesterday I went to the park. I met my friend there and we talked for an hour. Then we bought some ice cream and sat under a tree. Now it's your turn. Retell the story out loud in your own words. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Just keep going. Good. This exercise trains both your memory and your fluency at the same time. Another tip is to practice emotions with your voice. Speaking English is not only about words, it's also about how you sound. If you always speak in the same flat tone, it doesn't feel natural. So when you practice alone, exaggerate your emotions. Try saying, "That's amazing," with real excitement. Now say, "I'm so tired," with a heavy, sleepy voice. And then, "I can't believe it," with surprise. Playing with emotion makes your speaking practice more fun and helps you sound more natural in real conversations. Sometimes practicing alone can feel repetitive. To keep it interesting, give yourself small challenges. For example, set a timer for 2 minutes and talk about any topic without stopping. It could be your favorite movie, your weekend plans, or your dream vacation. The rule is, you cannot stop speaking until the timer ends. This forces you to keep thinking in English and pushes you past hesitation. At first, it may feel difficult, but with practice, 2 minutes will become easy, and you'll be able to go even longer. Let's do a mini challenge right now. I'll give you the topic. Describe your hometown. Start speaking out loud about your hometown, what it looks like, what people do there, what food is popular. Try to keep going for at least 1 minute. Ready? Go ahead and speak now. Excellent. This type of challenge is one of the best ways to train real fluency. Another helpful exercise is imagining different roles. Instead of always speaking as yourself, pretend to be someone else. For example, imagine you're a tour guide showing visitors around your city. You could say, "Welcome to my city." On the left, you can see the main square, and on the right is the museum. Or pretend to be a shop assistant. "Hello, can I help you?" Then switch and be the customer. "Yes, I'm looking for a pair of shoes." Role play like this makes practice more dynamic and prepares you for many different situations. Let's pause here for a quick reflection. Practicing alone is not about memorizing hundreds of grammar rules at once. It's about creating small, meaningful moments of speaking. These moments build confidence, and confidence creates fluency. Every time you speak out loud, even to yourself, you're strengthening the habit of thinking and responding in English. And remember, consistency matters more than intensity. Practicing for 10 minutes every day is better than practicing for 2 hours only once a week. To finish this part, let's practice a short guided visualization. Imagine you are at a cafe with a friend. Your friend asks, "What are you going to do this weekend?" You reply, "This weekend I'm going to relax at home, watch a movie, and maybe cook something special." Now imagine you ask your friend, "What about you?" And they answer, "I'm going to visit my parents." Try speaking both parts out loud, switching between you and your friend. This is the kind of solo practice that makes real conversations feel natural and easy later on. You're doing so well so far. Keep building these habits with me, and you'll notice your English-speaking confidence grow more and more each day. Now let's explore another method that works beautifully when you're practicing English alone: story expansion. Story expansion means starting with a simple sentence and slowly adding more detail each time you repeat it. This helps you build longer sentences naturally without pressure. For example, start with, "I went to the park." Then expand. "I went to the park yesterday." Expand again. "I went to the park yesterday with my friend." And again. "I went to the park yesterday with my friend, and we played basketball." One more. "I went to the park yesterday with my friend, and we played basketball for 2 hours before we bought some drinks." Do you see how it grows step by step? This is a perfect solo practice technique because it teaches you to build sentences more confidently without memorizing long lines at once. Let's try one together right now. I'll start with a simple line, and you repeat and expand. "I had lunch." Now expand. "I had lunch at a restaurant." Expand again. "I had lunch at a restaurant with my sister." Expand further. "I had lunch at a restaurant with my sister, and we ate pasta." Now make it even bigger. "I had lunch at a restaurant with my sister, and we ate Stop while talking about our weekend plans. See how you just created a detailed story from one short phrase? Practicing this way trains your fluency muscles little by little in a way that feels natural and fun. Another technique is contrast practice. Contrast means comparing two ideas out loud. For example, in the morning, I usually feel sleepy, but in the evening, I feel more energetic. Or, I like coffee, but my friend prefers tea. Contrast sentences make your speaking richer and show connections between ideas. Try one now. I enjoy summer because it's warm, but I don't like winter because it's too cold. Excellent. Practicing contrasts helps you speak more like a natural storyteller because real conversations often include comparisons. Now, let's focus on speed training. Many learners feel slow when they speak English. Practicing alone gives you a safe chance to push your speed without pressure. Choose a simple sentence like, I like learning English every day. First, say it slowly and clearly, then a little faster, then a little faster again. Be careful not to lose clarity, but allow yourself to experiment with speed. This exercise builds agility, so when you speak with others, your responses will come more smoothly. Here's a guided speed exercise. Repeat after me slowly. I like learning English every day. Now faster. I like learning English every day. Now a little faster again. Good. You see how your tongue starts to move more easily? That's your fluency muscle getting stronger. Another great solo practice is, what happens next? Storytelling. You begin with a simple situation, then keep asking yourself, what happens next? For example, I'm walking to the bus stop. What happens next? I meet my neighbor and say hello. What happens next? The bus arrives late, so I have to wait. What happens next? I listen to music while waiting and then finally get on the bus. This method keeps your mind active in English, always moving forward, just like in a real conversation where you don't know exactly what will happen. Let's do a short round together. I'll start the story, and you continue out loud. I went to the supermarket to buy some fruit. Now you say what happens next. Maybe you'll say, I picked up some apples and bananas. Then ask yourself, what happens next? And continue. Keep going for a few sentences. Good. You just created your own story in English. When you practice alone, it's also powerful to focus on connectors. Connectors are words like and, but, so, and because. These small words make your speech flow naturally. Without connectors, sentences sound short and broken. For example, I like pizza. It is tasty. I eat it often. Now add connectors. I like pizza because it is tasty and I eat it often. Much smoother, right? Practicing connectors is an easy way to upgrade your fluency. Let's practice a few together. Repeat after me. I was tired, so I went to bed early. I like reading, but I don't always have time. I went shopping and bought some new shoes. I stayed home because it was raining. Excellent. By using connectors, your English sounds more natural and less like a list of separate sentences. Another valuable technique is to create short speeches on simple topics. For example, choose a topic like my favorite hobby or a place I want to visit and speak about it for 1 or 2 minutes. Practice. Speeches helps you learn to organize your ideas and express them clearly. Let's try one now. Topic: My favorite hobby. Say something like, my favorite hobby is reading. I enjoy reading in the evening before bed. It helps me relax and learn new things at the same time. Try adding more detail. I especially like reading novels because they take me to another world and I can imagine the characters and stories. See how the speech grows naturally? Here's a small challenge for you. After this lesson, choose one topic, record yourself speaking about it for 2 minutes, and then listen back. Notice which words came easily and which were harder. Then practice again, focusing on the harder parts. This cycle of practice and reflection is how you grow steadily. Now let's shift to reaction training again, but this time focus on different emotions. Imagine someone tells you good news. I got a new job. You react. Congratulations. That's amazing. Now imagine someone says something sad. My dog is sick. You react. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Try it now with me. Congratulations, that's amazing. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Practicing reactions like these prepares you for natural emotional responses in conversation. Another activity is practicing common idioms or expressions. Idioms give your English color and help you sound more like a native speaker. For example, the phrase break the ice means to start a conversation in a friendly way. Try saying, I told a joke to break the ice at the meeting. Another idiom is under the weather, which means feeling sick. Say, I didn't go to work today because I was feeling under the weather. Practicing idioms alone helps you remember them better, so you can use them confidently when the moment comes. Now let's do a guided idiom practice. Repeat after me. I was nervous, but her smile broke the ice. I stayed home because I was feeling under the weather. He passed the exam with flying colors. We need to get the ball rolling on this project. Excellent. You see, practicing idioms aloud makes them feel more natural in your mouth, so later they'll come out without hesitation. Sometimes learners tell me, I practice alone, but I feel bored after a while. My advice is, make your practice personal. Use English to talk about your real thoughts, dreams, and goals. For example, instead of just repeating random phrases, you could say, my dream is to travel to Canada and see Niagara Falls. Or, one of my goals is to get a better job where I can use English every day. When the sentences are personal, they carry emotion, and emotion makes learning stick. Let's pause here for a quick practice. Think of one dream you have for the future and say it out loud in English. For example, I want to become a teacher, or I want to live in another country. Speak it now. Good. You see how much stronger it feels when the words are about your real life? Another method is role-switching practice. Pretend to be two different people in a conversation and say both sides out loud. For example, you as person A. Hi, can I help you? Then switch to person B. Yes, I'm looking for a new phone. Back to person A. Sure, what kind of phone are you interested in? And so on. It may feel funny at first, but it's an excellent way to prepare for conversations and build confidence. Let's try a short one together. Person A. Good morning. Do you have an appointment? Person B. Yes, I have an appointment at 10 o'clock. Person A. Great. Please take a seat and wait. Switch roles and repeat the whole thing again. Practicing both parts helps you anticipate what others might say, which is exactly what you need in real life. To close this part, let's practice another visualization exercise. Imagine you are at a restaurant with a friend. The waiter asks, "What would you like to order?" You reply, "I'd like some grilled chicken and a salad, please." Your friend orders, "I'll have the pasta." Then the waiter says, "Would you like something to drink?" And you answer, "Yes, I'll have a glass of water, please." Try speaking all the lines out loud. This kind of simple role play prepares you for everyday life situations, and the more you practice them alone, the easier they'll be when they happen in real conversations. You're making wonderful progress. Remember, every exercise we do together is building your fluency step by step. Keep your energy strong, keep your practice personal, and stay consistent. You're becoming a more confident English speaker with every word you speak. Let's continue building your practice together. One of the most powerful things you can do when practicing English alone is to use visualization combined with dialogue. We've done a few short ones already, but now let's go deeper into a complete situation. The more vividly you imagine it, the stronger the connection to the words will be. Imagine you are traveling to another country for the first time. You arrive at the airport and you need to go through immigration. The officer asks you, "What is the purpose of your visit?" You answer, "I'm here on vacation." Then they ask, "How long will you stay?" You reply, "I'll be here for 2 weeks." Practicing dialogues like this prepares you for moments that might feel stressful in real life. If you've already practiced them alone, they won't surprise you later. Let's practice another scene, checking into a hotel. The receptionist says, "Good evening, do you have a reservation?" You reply, "Yes, I booked a room under the name Sarah." They continue, "May I see your ID, please?" You say, "Of course, here it is." Practicing these exchanges out loud makes you feel ready and comfortable. Try repeating them with me now, switching between roles. Another great exercise is timed storytelling. Set yourself a goal. Tell a short story in 1 minute. It doesn't need to be perfect, just complete. For example, you could say, "Last weekend I visited my grandparents. We cooked dinner together, and then we watched an old movie. It was relaxing, and I felt very happy." That's a complete story in less than a minute. Practicing timed stories helps you speak more fluidly and structure your thoughts without stopping. Let's do a guided timed story together. I'll give you the theme. Your last birthday. Speak for 1 minute about what you did, who you were with, or what gift you received. Start now. Great. Even if you ran out of ideas after 30 seconds, keep going. The more you practice, the easier it will become to fill the full time. Now, let's shift to practicing different moods. Sometimes conversations are light and happy, sometimes they're serious. You can train yourself to adapt your voice by practicing both. For example, say this sentence in a cheerful tone, "I'm so excited to be here." Now say it in a calm, serious tone, "I understand what you mean." Practicing both tones helps you prepare for many situations, from chatting with friends to speaking in meetings. When you practice alone, it's also helpful to review the most common daily phrases until they feel automatic. For example, "Excuse me, can you help me? How much does this cost? Could you please repeat that?" Repeat after me. "Excuse me, can you help me? How much does this cost? Could you please repeat that?" These may sound simple, but they are the building blocks of real-life English. Another fun way to practice is to create imaginary interviews. Pretend you're on a talk show or in a job interview. For example, imagine someone asks, "Tell me about yourself." You could answer, "My name is Sarah, I'm learning English, and I enjoy reading and traveling." Or imagine the interviewer asks, "Why do you want this job?" You might answer, "Because I enjoy working with people, and I want to improve my skills." Practicing interviews builds confidence for formal situations, and it's also a creative way to stretch your speaking. Now let's try a job interview role play. Question: what are your strengths? Answer out loud. "One of my strengths is that I work hard and I'm always willing to learn." Next question: what are your hobbies? Answer: in my free time, I like reading books, listening to music, and practicing English. Excellent. The more you do these role plays alone, the less nervous you'll be when you face the real situation. Another area we should practice is problem-solving English. Imagine a situation where something goes wrong and you need to explain or ask for help. For example, you're at a restaurant and your food is cold. You could say, "Excuse me, this dish is cold. Could you please warm it up?" Or at a shop, you might say, "I'd like to return this item. It doesn't fit me." Practicing these situations builds not only fluency, but also confidence in handling challenges. Let's practice one together. Imagine you're on a bus and you realize you don't know where to get off. You ask, "Excuse me, does this bus stop near the train station?" Say it now. Good. This simple line could save you in real life. And because you've practiced it alone, you'll be ready when you actually need it. Another method I love is chain practice. Chain practice means linking ideas one after another without stopping. For example, start with, "I woke up late today." Then continue, "Because I woke up late, I didn't have time for breakfast." Then, "Since I didn't have breakfast, I felt hungry during work." And then, "Because I was hungry, I bought a sandwich at lunch." You see how one idea leads to the next. Practicing this way improves both fluency and logical connection of ideas. Let's try a chain practice together. Start with, "I went to the park." Then add, "At the park, I met my friend." Continue, "We decided to play football." Add, "After playing football, we were very tired." Finally, "Because we were tired, we bought some drinks." Excellent. This flow of ideas is exactly how conversations work. Now, let's talk about the role of memory in speaking practice. Sometimes learners feel frustrated because they forget words or phrases, but forgetting is part of learning. Every time you forget and then remember again, the memory becomes stronger. That's why repetition is so important. When you practice alone, repeat phrases many times until they feel natural. For example, repeat after me 3 times. "Could you speak more slowly, please?" Again. "Could you speak more slowly, please?" One more time. Could you speak more slowly, please? You see, the more you repeat, the more automatic it becomes. Another great habit is ending your practice with reflection. After you finish speaking for a few minutes, ask yourself, what went well? What felt difficult? What do I want to practice again tomorrow? Reflection turns practice into progress because you become aware of your strengths and weaknesses. Let's pause and do a short reflection now. Think back to everything you've practiced in this lesson so far. Which activity did you enjoy the most? Was it shad, owing, role plays, or storytelling? Say your answer out loud. Now think about one area you found challenging. Maybe it was longer answers or pronunciation. Say that out loud too. Finally, choose one small goal for tomorrow. For example, tomorrow I will practice describing my day for 5 minutes. Excellent. This is how you make steady progress. Another exercise I recommend is the two perspectives technique. You tell a story first from your own perspective and then from someone else's. For example, from your perspective, I went to the cafe and ordered a sandwich. From the waiter's perspective, a customer came in and ordered a sandwich. This exercise trains flexibility because you practice changing pronouns, verbs, and details. Let's practice it together. First, your perspective. I walked to the store and bought some fruit. Now, from the store clerk's perspective, a customer walked in and bought some fruit. Excellent. By practicing both sides, you become quicker at adjusting your speech in real conversations. Before we end this part, I want to give you a motivational reminder. Practicing alone is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It means you are taking control of your learning, even when no one is watching. Every sentence you speak aloud adds another brick to the foundation of your fluency, and the stronger that foundation becomes, the more confidently you'll be able to build real conversations with others. So keep practicing with me, keep speaking with yourself, and remember that fluency is built in small steps. You are already walking the path, and with every word you say, you're moving forward toward your goal. Let's keep going and bring all of this together. By now, you've practiced many techniques, describing daily routines, role plays, shadowing, storytelling, questions and answers, paraphrasing, and more. Each of these is like a different tool in your English learning toolbox. The more you use them, the stronger your fluency becomes. One of the best long-term habits you can build is to create your own English moments throughout the day. For example, when you see something interesting, say a sentence about it in English. If you're eating breakfast, say, "I'm eating toast with butter." If you're walking outside, say, "The air feels fresh this morning." These little sentences may seem small, but they add up quickly. Over time, your brain starts thinking in English naturally, without translation. Another excellent way to practice is by imagining conversations from movies or shows you enjoy. Think about your favorite film. Pause a scene and imagine yourself as one of the characters. Say the lines and then add your own. For example, if a character says, "How are you?" you can add, "I'm good, thanks. What about you?" It doesn't matter if the words don't match the original script. What matters is that you're practicing responding naturally, as if you were inside that world. Now, let's try a guided imagination exercise. Imagine you are in your favorite cafe. A friend joins you and says, "It's been such a long time since we met." You reply, "Yes, it's been a while. How have you been?" Your friend answers, "I've been busy with work." You say, "I understand. I've been busy too, but I'm glad we can meet today." Say these lines out loud, switching between you and your friend. This kind of imaginative practice makes your solo sessions feel alive and interactive. Another key skill to build is describing things in detail. Many learners can name objects but struggle to explain them. Practicing alone gives you time to train this skill. For example, instead of just saying, "This is a chair," try, "This is a wooden chair with 4 legs and a soft cushion." Or instead of, "I live in a house," say, "I live in a small house with 2 bedrooms and a garden in the back." The more you practice adding detail, the more natural it will feel when you need to explain things in real conversations. Let's do a short guided detail exercise. I'll give you an object and you describe it. The object is a smartphone. You might say, "This is a black smartphone with a large screen. It has a camera on the back, and I use it to make calls, send messages, and watch videos." Excellent. Practicing details like this makes your English fuller and more expressive. Another exercise that works well is combining listening with speaking. Listen to a short piece of English audio, pause, and then retell it in your own words. Even if you don't remember everything, just explain the main ideas. This builds both listening comprehension and speaking fluency. For example, if you listen to a short weather report that says, "It will be sunny tomorrow with a chance of rain in the evening," you could retell it as, "Tomorrow will be sunny, but it might rain later." Simple, but effective. Let's try one together. Here's the short passage. Today, many people are working from home. They use their computers to join online meetings and send emails. Some people enjoy it, but others miss working with their colleagues in the office. Now, retell this in your own words. Good. Even if your retelling was short, you just practiced comprehension and expression at the same time. When you practice alone, it's also important to focus on consistency, not perfection. Remember, no one speaks perfectly all the time, not even native speakers. What makes you fluent is the ability to keep going, even when you make mistakes. So don't aim for 0 mistakes. Aim for flow. And the more you practice every day, the more natural that flow will become. Another way to challenge yourself is to create English-only zones in your day. For example, tell yourself that for the next 10 minutes, you will only think and speak in English, no matter what you're doing. If you need to say something you don't know, explain it with simple words instead of switching to your native language. These short English-only sessions train your brain to stay in the language, and little by little, they expand your comfort zone. Let's do a mini English-only challenge right now. For the next 60 seconds, describe what you did today completely in English. Don't switch to your native language, even if you struggle. Use simple words to keep going. Start now. Excellent. This challenge is tough at first, but very powerful if you repeat it daily. As we move toward the end of this lesson, let's also practice some motivation sentences. Speaking is not just about language, it's about confidence and energy. So repeat after me. I can do this. I am improving every day. I am proud of myself for practicing. Say them with real belief because they are true. Every step you've taken today is progress. Before we finish, let's bring together everything with one final practice exercise. I'll guide you through a short conversation role play, and you'll speak both sides. Ready? You walk into a bookstore. The clerk says, "Hello, can I help you?" You reply, "Yes, I'm looking for an English dictionary." The clerk says, "We have several options. Do you want a small one or a large one?" You answer, "I'd like a large one, please." The clerk says, "Here you go." You reply, "Thank you very much." Excellent. Role plays like this bring all your practice to life, and they show you how much you've already learned. Now, let me leave you with this encouragement. Learning English, especially practicing speaking alone, can feel challenging sometimes. But every single time you speak, you are moving forward. Even if no one is around, your practice is real, your progress is real, and your future conversations will be easier because of it. You've done an incredible job today. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Keep going, keep speaking, and never forget, you are capable of becoming the fluent English speaker you dream of being. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss future lessons. I'll see you again very soon. Keep practicing and take care.